Welcome back to the KickNPost YouTube channel and podcast with your hosts Jamal Thompson and Chris Perry. And today we're covering the AFC North 2023 conference predictions. We had to pivot a little bit. The season's upon us, and we have to kind of get these out to you, let you know what we think about these teams. And covering all 32 teams, it's a bit of a task when we start a bit late. So we're going to cover the whole conference as a whole.
Yep.
How you doing today, Chris?
I'm good. I'm real good. It's my conference. This is our conference. Who day?
Who day? To preface, before we get too deep, we covered 3 teams out of the NFC East. Didn't get to the Giants. Just as a precursor, just so we can throw it out there. Might clip this too, so we can just throw it on TikTok. Giants prediction. I got them finishing 3rd in the division. Record of 9-8. Off the top of my head. Not making the playoffs this year. Sorry, Giants fans.
Yeah.
That is it. Chris, I don't know if you have a record prediction, but I feel like you have them falling about 3rd as well.
I think I got them 3rd too. I definitely got the Commanders last. If you're a Washington fan, sorry. But where's it at? Do I have it on? I got them going 7-10.
Ooh. Not many wins of the Giants' future, I guess, on Chris's side. I do have them finishing above 500. Brian Dable has his boys playing well. A little bit more weapons out there on the field. Darren Waller, big year though. If you're a fantasy guy, I'm starting to buy in. You could go get your boy Darren Waller, especially at the cost. Very, very, very affordable in fantasy. So go out there, target you some Darren Waller. Cheap Daniel Jones. Barkley's still that boy. But anyway, let's hop into AFC North. And Chris, I think most years we would consider this division to be one of the toughest in football. I think top to bottom, this year it definitely takes the cake. What do you think?
For sure. I think we have the best division in football. The only division competing is, I think, the AFC West. That's the Chiefs division.
I would say AFC East before AFC West.
Who's in the East?
Jets, Bills, Dolphins, Patriots.
That's the thing. Like, with those two divisions, I feel like the Patriots and then the Raiders are the reason why they aren't the best. Whereas with our division, there is a legit chance that any one of the 4 teams could win the division. So, no slouches. Like, you got to show up every week, and that's why I do put our division over everybody else's.
Yeah, this year you're looking at a conference where obviously you have the Bengals, Burrow-led Bengals. Lamar finally has some receiving weapons, allegedly. I think that it is the best group that he will have since he's been a Raven.
Easily. Extended
contract as well. Probably going to see shades of throwing Lamar more than running Lamar. But honestly, with the amount of passing weapons they've acquired for this man, those boxes might be a little bit light. So we might see a return of 100-yard rushing games for the boy. Because if they leave channels for this man to take off, I still think he got the legs on him. Then we have a Pittsburgh team that's kind of flying under the radar. Well, up to about 2 weeks ago. Now the hype is insane. They've gone 3-0 in preseason. Pickens has looked amazing ever since he's declared himself as one of the best in the league. He can't stop making highlight plays. Still got Deontay Johnson out there. The duo of Jalen Warren and Najee Harris. A nice little thunder and lightning type duo. Some are even saying Jalen Warren might supplant him. I don't know if I'm ready to say that yet. Freiermuth looks good.
Right.
And if they have a healthy defense to start the year, that's a scary team out there as well. And of course, we got off-season Deshaun Watson getting acclimated to his team. Amari Cooper, his wide receiver 1. And Njoku coming back healthy. And Elijah Moore. Don't sleep on Elijah Moore coming in as a wide receiver 2 as well. Very talented out of the New York Jets. Had a great rookie season. Had a weird sophomore season. But gets to reset on a different team with a lot more weapons. And a more established quarterback. Well, of course, before Aaron Rodgers went to the Jets. But you guys get the drift. From top to bottom, this division goes 4 teams deep. Now, I don't think any team's going to get under 10 wins in this division. Which is going to mean it's going to be a bloodbath in division, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. I got everyone over 10 wins or at 10 wins, and I do think everyone's going to split their matchups. It's going to be 1-1 across the board for most. If anyone sweeps, I would think it's the Bengals, but as history shows...
Big surprise.
Still, just every team knows how to play every team. It's just, you know what they're good at, stop it. And it's just going to be who's the healthiest, who's the most prepared. But it's a legit 50-50 almost every game. So that's why I think we got the toughest. Just for the whole year, I got the Steelers and Browns going 10-7. So, I mean, Steelers always go over 500 some way, somehow. Can't refute it now. I got the Ravens coming in second in the division at 11-6. And then I really got the Bengals going 17-0, but for video purposes, 14-3.
Okay.
14-3, a healthy 14-3, but we are gonna win the division again, no fear.
On my side, to get these records out the way, I got the Bengals at 13-4. I've warmed up to the idea of a healthy Pittsburgh defense, so I have Pittsburgh at 11-6. I think there'll be some growing pains with this passing offense for Baltimore still, but I got them 10-7, and I got the Browns at 9-8. 9-8. Even though I feel like every team can finish with 10, I feel like the Browns will have more slip-ups than the other ones at the top of the division, out of conference especially. But again, very respectable conference. And I know I just kind of backtracked on me saying all these teams could have 10 wins. But the more I think about it, I think the Browns will have, again, a little bit more growing pains than the other three. Key matchups, and I know it's going to sound crazy. I think a lot of these teams, we're going to see what they're made of out the gate. For some reason, your conference has some of the toughest, first 3-week matchups in the league, I feel like.
Yeah.
You got
we do.
Pittsburgh facing the Niners, of course, in Pittsburgh, week 1. We're really going to see what this team's made of, because this offense is going to have to face a very formidable defense. A healthy Bosa, obviously a great linebacking core, well coached. And then the Pittsburgh defense is going to have to deal with a multitude of weapons on the other end. They finally decided to go with Brock Purdy going forward. So we'll really get to see if Pittsburgh is that team to match up with a Niners team, which, barring, starting Christian McCaffrey at quarterback for multiple snaps last year, could have been in the Super Bowl. So that's what I think is big for Pittsburgh coming out, is to see what they're made of. I got them winning that game as a little precursor, but we'll see what that team is.
Pittsburgh winning?
Yeah, I got Pittsburgh beating San Fran week 1.
All right, bro.
I'm just being real, man. I think a healthy Pittsburgh defense at home against a Brock Purdy-led offense, I feel like they're going to put a lot of pressure on Purdy. That's a very tough defensive line over there. So, I guess we'll see.
Cool.
Obviously, and don't act like I'm crazy.
We're gonna see.
It's practically like a pick'em. They're plus money. I think it's like plus 110.
It's not a pick'em. It's not a pick'em.
It's plus 110. It's close.
Only because the 49ers match up really well against them. So you can have TJ Watt. Guess what? They got Trent Williams. You can have Hines Smith, anyone, Cameron Hayward. They're all good. But that offensive line as a whole, if you can neutralize TJ Watt, those other players aren't going to look as good. I'm not saying that they aren't as great as they are. They're great defensive linemen, but they're going to have harder matchups. I just think the 49ers are going to win because the 49ers offense can compete with the Steelers defense. That's a fact. They got playmakers everywhere. Brock Purdy can throw it 5 yards down the field, and then Debo, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle will get the other 20. So CMC does his thing. It's just on the other side of the ball. You're asking Kenny Pickett to dot up one of the best defenses in the league last year when their offensive line is shaky.
That's why I'm saying.
And Bosa is playing.
This is where we find out who they are.
Week 1, good luck.
Week 1.
Pickett, I like you. You had a great off season. Good luck.
He's looking great in
That's
preseason.
a tall order.
It is a tall order.
49ers.
But if you're going to talk that talk, if I'm going to get George Pickens looking amazing in preseason and in camp, I need him to show me he's that guy week 1 against one of the best defenses in the league, right? If they go out there,
I just have 2 questions for you.
Go ahead.
I have 2 questions for you. Is the Pittsburgh offense better than the 49ers defense?
In my humble opinion right now, no.
Thank you. And is the Pittsburgh defense better than the 49ers offense?
I think it's a split. I think it's even.
I'll give you a split. And the 49ers still win. Thank you.
But where is this being played?
It's week 1. I can understand week 7 you've been traveling. It's week 1.
It's
like you just had everybody just had a bye week.
They're at
it don't
home.
matter. They've been in Pittsburgh.
We're hearing that you are the
training.
team now that second year Pickett's made a step forward. Pickens made a step forward. They still have Deontay on the team. You have a solid running offense. You have a healthy defense. The O-line is the biggest question mark. I agree with you, but I heard it's improved. I need to see how you look. I got them winning, but as long as they don't get blown out by like 3 touchdowns,
all I'm saying is their biggest issue is O-line.
Okay.
And their O-line is being saved by rookies, and you're asking week 1 for rookies to show up against the best defensive lineman and the best defensive player in the league, allegedly. Okay, good luck. It's the same issue that the Bengals are facing. We have a rookie secondary pretty much with Dax Hill, Jordan Battle, DJ Turner, all great players, but that's why I think Watson will have a leg up because he's coming back from everything that he just went through. Week 1, you get a rookie secondary. Our pass rush is decent, should be better, but that's like a training game for him. A full 4 quarters of like, okay, do I still got it? Which if he struggles week 1, it'll be very alarming because of that. But I think he's gonna find his rhythm and his tune throughout that game. But like that's another thing that why I feel like our game is 50-50 just because of like the rookie situation. That's just a lot to ask for rookies in any sport to show up the very first week as a professional against people that are already solidified professionals, you know? Because like I can't name, or I would love for Dax Hill to lock up Amari Cooper, but is that happening?
Probably not.
No, it's not.
But I mean,
would love
it leads me to
for
the next
any of
point,
them
though.
to match up.
That week 1 matchup means a lot for the Browns too, because we already know what the Bengals are. You already said that it's a slow starting team, right? And we know what that offense has in store, and we already have the question marks on the defensive side. So even though I think they should still win the game, we need to see what the Browns are made of in this game. If you go out there and smoke them with a defense that's developing still, and Deshaun does not look like Houston Deshaun still, there's going to be a lot of questions for that Cleveland Browns offense. And we need those questions answered sooner than later. So
So they got the first, like you said, first 3 weeks are going to say a lot.
Right? Yeah. That's why I got week 1 being important for the Browns, week 1 being important for Pittsburgh, mainly for performance. I know we got into a whole argument about them winning, but my main stake is, even though I have them winning, if they don't win, I need to see what they look like week 1. I need to see how that offense moves the ball.
I think that's more important than the win or loss.
Exactly.
Like, they could look great in a loss. It's perfectly fine. We just got to see how you're performing, because it's the Bengals, like you said. It's a tall order already. Yeah. But show us what you got.
And then I will learn nothing from Baltimore week 1. Houston's offense is still trying to figure themselves out. Baltimore should eat on that really. And then Baltimore's offense, even if they're trying to figure stuff out, you have Lamar and company against the Houston Texans defense that's not to be slept on, but they're going to be on the field a lot. I don't think the Houston offense is going to move the ball that well, so that defense is going to get tired. So I don't expect to learn too much out of the Ravens week 1, but I do need to see what they look like coming out those first 5 weeks. I need to see what type of offense they put together. If Lamar is still struggling to get over 220 passing yards a game, I'm going to have questions. If that defense is giving up a lot of points, because they lost Calais Campbell in the offseason. They let Marcus Peters walk, didn't they?
I mean, hobble away, but yeah.
Yeah, he did hobble away, but I don't even think Humphries is healthy coming into the year, is he?
No, he's not. Yes, that's
already, right? So
yeah, love it.
We got to see what the defense looks like. That's why I have them 3rd right now. And again, first 5 weeks, we need to see how that offense kind of generates. Do we have OBJ back, or do we have a shell of him? Is Zay Flowers really that guy as the rookie receiver, or is it a little bit overhyped? Will Rashad Bateman show up for them at all? You know, J.K. Dobbins wanted a new contract before he even played 8 games in the NFL. Like, what do we have going on this offense? And we'll find out the first 5 weeks for sure. They have a few formidable matchups in the first 5 weeks. Of course, they have a couple in-conference games. Anything in conference is a prove-it game. So I think I don't necessarily have a week for them. I have the first 5 weeks and just what they look like as a whole. And then for the Bengals, I know you're gonna hate me for it. Joey going into the season with a calf injury. Does he look mobile? Does he look comfortable behind the O-line? We know what the team is as a whole right now. How does he look?
You know who's worried about Joe Burrow's injury? It's not Joe Burrow, it's Zach Taylor. Like even last year coming back from injury, you could tell by the play calling that Zach was really cautious with Joe. Joe wasn't cautious with Joe because Joe is Joe.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
But it's Zach, and that's the biggest issue here, which is why I'm a little bit timid of, because the same situation last year with us not playing any of our starters in the preseason. In the first 2 weeks, we looked like a preseason team. It's very alarming. Same situation happened this year to where Joey B gets hurt in offseason, doesn't really train as much. No starters play in the preseason again because Zach Taylor's scared. And now we have 2 conference games, week 1 and 2. And it's like, brother, like, I know we're going to be a better looking team later in the year, but every win's going to matter, especially for us, a lot of the out of conference games, because the league loves the Bengals. Like, we have some hard teams. Like, we got to play the 49ers, we got to play the Bills, and everyone loves the Chiefs matchup. We got to show up those weeks, and we can't afford to just do what we did last year and just slip up week 1, week 2, because it's going to be, like you said, a different conference this year. Like, every game's going to matter. Everyone. So, just to pivot a little bit, I got the keys to win the division for each team. For the Bengals, I think we win this division with line depth on both ends, so offense and defense. That's been our biggest struggle, especially with injuries throughout the season, especially on the defensive end. We haven't really had a lot of guys that we could like rotate in and keep moving and keep fresh, which we're already behind the ball again this year. Joseph Asai just got injured again, like he does always. Like, praying for you, but bro, this is like 2 years in a row now. So
this is becoming a little bit frustrating.
It's very frustrating because a lot of potential, but we'll never see how it pans out because every year he gets injured before the year. So I'm hoping he comes back at some point and is able to sustain himself. But I think that's going to be our key to winning the division and the Super Bowl. For the Ravens, I have their pass game. If they're able to, like you said, average over 250 yards a game, solidify that in their system, then the running game is going to be free for them. They can't stack the box anymore. Lamar's going to walk for 100 yards. Like, it's just going to be too easy. So I think that is what they need to establish in order to win the division, even though they're not. For the Steelers, it's their O-line. I think I hate to say this out loud, and Steeler fans, I hate you all, but I have to be honest. But they're a complete team almost. Like, they have a lot of pieces. Their receiving core is great. Najee's a dog. D-line's phenomenal. Their secondary, you can plug in anyone in their secondary and they're gonna look amazing. But even on top of that, they have playmakers everywhere. But that O-line is dog water. I did like their pickup of Broderick Jones, and they picked up some other rookie. But like I said, it's just a tall order, especially in our division, to throw Broderick at tackle and expect him to lock down Myles Garrett, to expect him to lock down a Trey Hendrickson. Like, it's just not happening anytime soon, unless he's that guy. But he fell to them for a reason. They traded up, so it is what it is. But if they can get that locked down, they're a scary team. And then for the Browns, I think we need to see a MVP Watson year, what he used to be, because he's the answer for all that. They've been stacked for a couple of years now. Their only issues have been coaching and quarterback, and I think quarterback goes over coaching. Not too sure. I think Kevin Stefanski's their coach right now. He didn't look too bad, but if Watson can be great, it won't matter how good of a coach he is. He'll make him look phenomenal. So there's that.
I want to piggyback off your keys. I agree with the Bengals 100%. I don't really have much to add there. You hit the Baltimore one on the head as well. Pittsburgh, I think what I would add, yes, the O-line needs to show up. They did supplement the O-line, of course, with that draft pick Jones, and that monster at tight end that should be on the field pretty often as a rookie, especially as a blocker. When you're a good blocker, you'll get on the field. But my big thing for Pittsburgh is Kenny Pickett being safe with the ball. He's allegedly made the year 2 jump based on 3 preseason games. But the issue he had last year, which I know it wasn't 100% his fault, was turnovers to an extent. he needs to be safe with the ball, especially in this division. There's solid defenses top to bottom. So how he's able to mitigate his turnovers and keep plays alive, keep drives alive, and keep his defense fresh. For the Browns, I agree 100% with the Deshaun Watson take. You spend the money to go get that man. You move Baker Mayfield out the door after you guys made it to the playoffs with Baker. I know he's not anywhere the type of athlete or quarterback that Deshaun Watson showed himself to be in Houston, but Deshaun Watson also hasn't been the type of quarterback and athlete that he showed himself to be in Houston. He was a shell of himself last year. And now with the full offseason, with his weapons, a pretty quiet offseason in terms of news for him, I expect him to hopefully transition back into that Houston version of himself, at least for the sake of Browns fans, because that's what, he made the QB market a mess for like a year and a half with his contract, right? Like, the Browns are putting a lot of eggs into this Deshaun Watson basket, and if he does not look like Deshaun Watson of old, it'll just be another name on the long list of quarterbacks that the Browns attempted to fix their franchise with. And this one will be the most puzzling, because the man had it and then goes there and just doesn't have it anymore, So to see what he kind of turns this year into, he has the weapons. I mean, he goes, I think, 4 people deep, potentially 5 people deep at receiver. Don't sleep on DPJ or Cedric Tillman out of Tennessee. And Njoku, of course. He has solid wide receiving options. What'd you say?
You can chill out. They're good. They're all right.
They're solid. They go deep at wide receiver, I would say. Nick Chubb is still a dog back there. Obviously, they don't have Kareem Hunt to back him up anymore. But they went out and got Pierce Strong to play that role. Maybe still got Jerome Ford there. Hopefully, they won't have to use either of those guys. Maybe it's just a Nick Chubb type of year. And that defense still has Myles Garrett on it, and a solid secondary as well. So it all is in Deshaun Watson's hands. What will he do for that franchise? For the sake of Browns fans, hopefully he's what you paid for. But if they finish 9-8 like I predict, there's going to be a lot of question marks. Obviously it's a tough division, but you pay the money to make the playoffs, and I don't think that's going to be good enough to make the playoffs. So
I agree. It's not.
Any additional takes on your AFC North division?
Bengals 17-0. Who dey? Heard it here first.
Oh my gosh. No 17-0, but I think Who dey wins the division again. Thank y'all for tuning in to our AFC North conference prediction, division prediction, whatever prediction. We'll catch y'all on the next one. We're going to keep knocking out these for you guys. Hopefully have them all out by the end of NFL Week 1. That's what we shoot for. These will be dated, though. Recorded before the season. We're not switching the takes, no matter what happens Week 1. All right?
No, sir.
Any closing statement from my boy?
Actually, no. I don't got anything to say, actually.
All right. Well, we'll catch y'all on the next one.
Good
Peace.
luck.